An immaculate inning. 9-pitch, 3 strikeout. Rarely happens in baseball.
Welcome, everyone, to the Immaculate Inning podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, it looks different. If you're listening on the podcast, it's going to sound on Spotify. It's going to sound different. Shane's not here today. Baseball season's busy. We know that. So Keenan is here today. Keenan, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Keenan. I am roommates with Drew.
This is true.
I love baseball, but preferably the Boston Red Sox.
So Keenan does not love baseball right now.
No, I'm pretty miserable. I'm going to be completely honest. I love baseball. I love giving controversial hot takes and backing them up with little to no facts. I love arguing with Drew.
He loses.
I love the game of baseball. Grew up playing the game of baseball. Love talking about baseball. Love listening to baseball. Love Rafael Devers.
Who doesn't?
I'm excited for Lucas Giolito to win the AL Cy Young and then opt out of his 1-year contract. So many things to be excited for. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Keenan. We're happy to have Keenan. This has been a long time coming. But I think on the topics of opt-outs, we just hop straight into the free agency tracker, kind of what we've been doing. There hasn't, I feel like we've really there's just a lot of big names left, but a few things have happened since last week. Ahmed Rosario signed a 1-year, $1.5 million deal with the Rays. Terrible defense. It's just
above
bad.
Average, slightly above average bat.
Yeah, and one thing that I did notice too before we hopped on here is he's actually decently effective against lefties. In the 180 something at bats, he had a 112 WRC plus, and a so.
What was it total?
318 BABIP. So what'd you say?
What was it total last season?
Like just graded. It was like 88. He was pretty bad against righties.
So
he had a 76 against righties. In like 300 at bats. So that'll probably be a platoon bat. I know they've got a rookie, or a kid in the minors prospect who they're looking at maybe giving some time at short or third, especially with Wander Franco and all that. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there.
Wander Franco is gonna be playing right in prison, man. I'll tell you what.
Rosario's
crazy because like his first few years, like demonstrated good power, good like walk to strikeout like percentages, and then just completely has sucked.
Yeah,
like just bad.
That was the guy wasn't that who this is who let me go back. This is who
he was part of the Lindor trade.
Yeah, the Lindor trade, right? Yeah. I mean, had pretty good numbers. Well, actually no. Honestly, like batting wise, not great numbers. He's never really been a plus defender. The year before he got traded, he had a 2.2 defensive WAR, but had a -5 offensive WAR that amounted to 0.1 WAR on the season. I don't know. That trade will just go down in infamy.
Yeah, he's really fast though. Golly, he's fast. That's all. You look at his savant page and like everything's just blue or gray except his speed is 95th percentile.
Perfect. Yeah. So should be interesting. Honestly, like low-key kind of steal, like an established big leaguer who can like actually like play for $1.5 million is kind of not that bad. So we'll see. And the Rays have a way of maximizing potential and squeezing every last bit of productivity out of people. So definitely be something to keep an eye on.
Look what they did with Manuel Margot, like turning him into a stud. And I mean, like to come up, like coming off the Wander Franco, like a complete change of plans, like organizationally, what your philosophy is moving forward. You go from having a clear cut vision for the future of the face of your franchise So now, like honestly, as you said, a serviceable MLB player in a
Mhm.
slot to kind of bridge that gap. Because I mean, no matter how many guys they seem to call up, like it seems like it's always a top prospect making a debut for them, and
Yeah.
it's like, what the dang heck?
Yeah. It is they are good at what they do, to say the least.
Which is take advantage of Major League Baseball players.
They yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Relief pitchers go there to live and then die.
To get Tommy
um,
John surgery. Hey,
moving on.
we're gonna teach you how to throw the nastiest pitch you've ever seen. And
And
we're
you'll
gonna
throw
use
it
you
for
for
2
exactly
seasons.
8 months, and that's it.
And we'll make the playoffs, we'll win a few games, and then you'll get surgery and we'll be done.
Hmm.
Uh, moving on, Gio Urshela, third baseman, with spent this past season completely or mostly with the A's, has signed a 1 year, $1.5 million deal with the Tigers. Um, so this is interesting. Gio Urshela been a bit of a journeyman, played for several teams in his young career. Not great. Um,
Mm-mm.
this past year.
Mm-mm.
A fine enough defense.
Mhm.
Can give
That's a good way
you
to put
some
it.
good at bats. Can hit for some power. He hit I lied. He only hit 2 home runs this year, but that was in 62 games, so 228 plate appearances too. So that's not great. So
Yeah.
he had some injury issues, I believe.
I mean, his best years are with the Yankees,
Yeah,
and it would appear that those are in fact behind him. Um,
yeah. So
I mean,
I
I
don't.
think the Yankees maximized on his value. The trade
Yeah.
didn't work, but
I want to look. I think that I mean, he did hit almost 300. I think the Tigers, they're kind of in that position where they're not quite ready to compete. They're still waiting for a few of their top prospects to come up to mature. So I think this is kind of like a holdover move. Give you somebody who could potentially give you some good at bats, play some decent defense at third. Because let me look this up real fast. They're a top their top 30 prospects. Because I believe they have um a third baseman in the minors who is pretty good. Let's see. Give me a second here. I should have pulled this up, I guess, beforehand. But
I forgot they got Canna. I mean, they should be decent enough. Like, when are we gonna get to the? Oh gosh, their rotation stinks.
yeah, it's awful.
Oh gosh, the only guy who has a projected ERA below 4 is
Uh,
Scooble.
wait, I lied. I guess apparently they don't have. Let me do 2023 top 30 for Detroit, and because I believe they haven't come out with the 2024 top 30s. They've got Max Clark, who's single A.
Mhm.
Colt Keith is a guy, third base, second base, who actually graduated this past year, and then Jace Young, who is in Double A. So I think Gio Rochelle is just kind of hold over until those guys are fully ready to compete. So um,
Yeah.
Detroit, what you gonna say there? Hey,
They're not. I mean, it's like year 3 of like is Spencer Torkelson actually going to be really good this year? And I
hey,
think he'll be
he
better.
he finished. He had a very strong finish to the season. It was very, very
Yeah,
reassuring. So, um, that was good. That was cool. I think he'll put it together.
I hope
Maybe
so.
we'll see.
For his sake, I hope so.
Yeah, the Tigers have Kenta Maeda though, so maybe they'll figure it out. Um,
Yeah.
so next, this is kind of will be something we kind of talk about together. Jorge Soler signs a 3 year, $42 million deal with the Giants. I don't know if you saw this report, but JD Martinez turned down a 1 year, $16 million deal
I saw
short
that.
from the Giants uh right before the Giants signed Jorge Soler, quote, he did not want to play there. So I know me and Shane kind of touched on this several episodes ago, like kind of why, like just the struggles that the Giants have had to lure in, big name free agents, like the
Arson.
the state of the city has kind of affected that and all that. But yeah, I guess I don't really want to focus on that too much. But I just thought it was really interesting. This is another free agent who has not signed anyway. He it's not like he chose another team over them. He told them no and is still unsigned. Coming
Yeah.
off an all-star season with the Dodgers. Basically DH. But
He
I
can't play
like
the
this
field. He's
signing.
geriatric.
Yeah. I mean I think he's getting old. I'll be interested to see where he goes and what happens and what dollar amount, because I do think that there will start to be a decline. I mean, there was before he joined the Dodgers, and the Dodgers literally just had him only hit lefties, right? Because Hayward hit against righties. Or I
No,
don't
I
know, but
think no, I think he hit 33 bombs and 103, 33 or 32 bombs and 103 RBIs.
okay.
Like he had a classic JD Martinez season.
Hmm.
Like rake doubles, hit homers when he needed to. Like he's his best when he's hitting the other way, and he just hit the other way and Dodger Stadium all year long. Um, but I think with him, I saw conflicting reports. Like some of them said like he flat out told him he doesn't want to play there. One of them said that like he gave a counter offer and then the Giants kind of settled on Soler.
Okay.
Granted, like you can make the case like maybe they wanted the defensive flexibility of Soler, but like is Soler going to give you much else? No, like he's
Especially not that massive outfield in the
yeah,
Bay.
no,
Like
no.
that's he's DHing for them. He's going to be their DH. So he's a little
Hmm.
younger. I think that
Yeah,
was what Lord. But I like this signing for like San Francisco. Like I don't know if they're necessarily going about like the free agency and like building the team the right way, but I think they're doing it the best way with the resources that they have available. Like they're trying to maximize potential and maximize skills. And they haven't had somebody hit over 30 home runs since Barry Bonds, right?
that's crazy.
And this is a guy who can give you 30 bombs. You know, if he's healthy and if he's producing, he can give you close to 40. I mean, we saw that in 2019. There's some speculation there that he maybe was a product of the juiced baseballs in 2019. You know, so we'll actually see if he can get back to that. But you know,
What a
like they're
wild
trying to
season.
build a competitor in the NL West, and I still think they're probably the fourth best team behind the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and then Padres. But you know, they're
Yeah,
trying. You know, they're going out there and they're
yeah,
getting guys. So you can't, you know, maybe they'll have another 102 win season. Who knows?
that'd
But
be
that staff
sick.
is looking shaky. The bullpen, we'll see. The lineup is just like a pray and hope type situation. So
Yeah, and I think especially like you look at his past few seasons, like with Miami, with Kansas City, um, like dating back to even 2018, like what you're gonna get is you're gonna get 30 bombs. You're gonna get like 80 RBIs around there. He's gonna strike out a decent amount, not a crazy amount. His strikeout numbers are better than most like power hitters and what you would expect. Um, but just like having that in that lineup, and as you said, it's such a wild city right now. And I mean, like the ownership group hasn't been great. Like they're just kind of throwing crap at the wall, trying to hope it sticks. Between Aaron Judge, they're sell out for maybe getting a top line free agent. They've added a lot of talent from overseas this offseason, which is cool to see. Um, I'm excited to see how that turns out for them. What's that dude's name from Japan that they signed? Jung Ho Lee.
that was the Korean kid,
Yeah,
grandson of the Wind.
yeah. What a cool name. What a cool name.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
I really like that name. But yeah, it'll be. Oh wow, CBS has a list of injuries: Mikey Yastrzemski shoulder, Jung Ho Lee side, Robbie Ray elbow, obviously TJ's, Mauricio Lucino hamstring, and then Alex Cobb hip.
Machino.
So
When are they?
we'll see.
When is Do we know when what's his name is expected back? Jordan
Ray,
Hicks is in their starting rotation.
I
Oh
think
my
they are
god.
shooting like early summer, like pre All Star, pre-ish All Star break. Um,
Dang. Luciano. I mean, I look at their lineup and like again, like you have to remember the division they're in. Like the Diamondbacks are here, and I think they're here to stay at least the next 2 or 3 years. As they continue to put the talent around Corbett. The rest of that young wave starts to come up. The rotation they added Eddie Rodriguez, steady Eddie. Like Eddie's a number 3, number 2, and he's going to give you pretty much the same thing every time he steps out on the field. And you put that in that rotation with Zach Gallen and all those guys. Like they'll be just as good this year if I had to make an estimation. And then you have the Padres, who they're not going to be as bad as they were last year, whether or not you take Soto out of the lineup. Like you still have Tatis, you still have Machado, you still have Darvish in that rotation. If he's healthy, he's one of the top pitchers in baseball. Has some of the nastiest stuff you've ever seen. The Rockies stink, and they will always stink. But like for them, it's like how can you get a wild card spot because it's everybody's chasing the Dodgers and throwing punches at each other. So can you survive those other two and make it into a wild card spot against a whole bunch of other teams that are going to have a way easier schedule than you and don't have to play 10 games against the Dodgers?
Yeah,
That's tough.
I completely agree.
They gotta stay afloat in the second half until they get that pitching help on the way.
Yeah, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I don't know if that'll be enough help.
I don't
But
think so either. What's their bullpen? Oh, they got a good bullpen.
yeah, we'll see. But
Yeah, he's
yeah,
projected for like he's like 50 innings this year for Robbie Ray. He's not gonna come back until after the All-Star break.
yeah,
And then
that would
he won't get back to actual.
yeah. I think that's worst case scenario. Like that's what is that, Zips or Steamer or whatever? Like those projection models are usually pretty conservative.
Yeah,
So I think they're shooting for around the All-Star break, but
that'd be
yeah.
good.
I guess this is kind of maybe the last big
His
signing
tight
here.
pants.
Um, but Cody Bellinger
Oh yeah.
is back with the Cubs, 3-year, $80 million contract with opt-outs after his first and second year of the deal. More
Perfect.
opt-outs. That seems to be the theme of free agency. Um,
It's
just
the theme of
opt-outs
these
galore.
guys who aren't getting the money they thought they were gonna get. Like Correa set the precedent, what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when he didn't get the money. I mean, it's Boris who's setting the precedent in actuality. Like Boris has overplayed his hand like crazy these past few off seasons.
Yeah.
Like crazy.
But I think this is kind of whatever. I mean, Lisa called it. Some random lady on Twitter like responded to a Cubs tweet like 2 days before this was announced, and she was like, "Yeah, a friend just from Arizona who's been at spring training just told me that they're gonna sign Cody." And so Jeff Passan
Really
gave her a shout out before he broke the news.
good for
It was
him,
amusing to
man.
me, but I mean, I think this is kind of the best fit for him, for them. Like you look around the league and some people like the Yankees, but really that appeal of that is kind of like the short porch for him, and he's just not a home run guy anymore.
Mhm.
A lot of teams were scared away from him because of those just scary peripherals, like just the poor hard hit, the barrel rate just wasn't there. The exit velo just was just not what it once was. So I would imagine, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, but still, he's making 30 million this year, and then he's 25 next year if he doesn't opt out, and then 20 for the third year. So
Dude, I'd love to make $30 million. That'd be great.
I mean, I guess some people will be like, "Oh, Scott Boras, he overplayed his hand, or he's ruined the sport, or whatever." But still, like, there's a chance that Cody Bellinger is really bad this year and makes $30 million, and then makes 25 next year, and then 20 the year after that. So,
Yeah. I think
I think they got the best. They got the best case scenario, I think, with his situation, and he got paid. Like, it's a decent contract. I feel like for where he's at in his career.
yeah, I think it's the best case scenario for him too. Like New York's not a place you want to go. Like he's at his best when he's being athletic and he's utilizing his physical tools. And you go to New York and they're just going to ask you to hit homers over the short porch. Um, And I just think the comfortability he reached and clearly reached in Chicago. And I do think there's limited expectations in Chicago. Um, like another one of these organizations, similar to the Red Sox, where everyone keeps saying, spend money, spend money, spend money, and they just haven't until like a time like this. Um, so I feel like for him, it honestly is a good place. Continue to get your feet under you in a comfortable location where you can continue having these good seasons. Hopefully, get a massive payday. But as you said, if not, you're still making $30 million and then $20 million. But I think for like the Cubs in itself, like it allows you to continue to compete as like that pitching pipeline continues to pump out. Like they have like legitimately some of the best like minor league pitchers that can step in, have a competent offense. You have a great seasoned veteran that you can continue to bring these young guys around. Um, I just like what Chicago's doing. Like they probably should be spending more money. Yes, and if I was a Cubs fan, I'd probably be upset. But at the same time, like, can you be upset? I don't know. You
Um,
got the guy.
I mean, yeah, they brought in Shota Imojima too, who will be interesting.
Imanaga.
I mean, yeah, whatever, how you say it.
Mhm.
The Cubs people seem to really like him. I think most MLB guys have him slotting in as like a 2 or a 3, more closer to a 3. So we'll
They got
see
him
how
for way less than I thought he was gonna get.
yeah. Um,
There were like rumors coming out he was gonna get 200 million, and I was like, he should not get 200 million.
yeah. I
The
mean,
market came way back down to earth after Yamamoto signed.
oh yeah, absolutely. So, but yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Definitely, like I feel like that this is best case scenario for Cody, Cody Bellinger and the Cubs. They get a fan. I
Yeah,
think the fans really embraced him this past year, and they really like him. So that's good. Uh,
that was good.
Speaking of the Cubs, I think we should talk about a guy who I don't know if we've really talked about a whole bunch on here. But we've talked about Montgomery and Snell. Me and Shane have at least, and Keenan wants the Red Sox to get Montgomery really, really badly. Yeah, we'll
Hmm.
see. Um, but Matt Chapman has not been signed,
Yeah.
and that is really interesting because I don't know if there's really a situation out there that's really good for him. Like I think that you could make the argument that the Cubs would be, but they are really stuck on trying to get
Who's their
Christopher
third
Morale
baseman?
and what'd you say?
Who's their third baseman?
They Christopher Morale and Nico Horner they're trying to slot those guys into the infield. I think it's Nico's who they want to play third because Christopher is at second, and they're
Michael
just
Bush is their projected third baseman.
yeah, and it's just like I, I don't know. I think Chapman would really help them out. I think he showed flashes of being really good at the plate. He's kind of the opposite of Bellinger. Like all of his hard hit, exit velos, like launch angles, all that stuff was really good. He just like hit into a lot of outs. But like you look at that defense with Christopher Morale at second, Dansby at short, and then Matt Chapman at third. I mean, that's tough. Defensively, that is really, really good.
I mean, you also got
Um,
Nick Madrigal that you can slide in anywhere you want.
Nick Madrigal as well. So the Cubs are they're in an interesting position. I think it would help them to go after Chapman. But I'd love to hear where else
Right.
you think Chapman maybe fits in and you know, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, call me biased. I want the Red Sox to sign anybody at this point. But like I do think like Chapman's options are limited. I think it's either you go to a team like the Cubs where you can maybe compete, or you literally sign one like the Marlins and just get to take over a spot and like just spend a year in baseball purgatory. Like that's literally like your option. Like go to the A's, Marlins, like Angels, like go spend a year in purgatory. I'm sure that Angels would love to have a guy who actually seems like he wants to play baseball at
And
third
third
base.
base too.
Yeah,
But
exactly. Like a guy at third base who seems like he cares at all. Um, but he's such an interesting guy because like the offensive numbers stink and they have stung for a long time. Other than when it was like the beginning of last season when he was like otherworldly for like 2 months. Everyone's like, wait a
yeah.
minute, who is this guy? But then he came back down to earth, and even the defensive metrics, like he's a platinum glove winner. Like
Mhm.
even at that, like it has proven he may not really be there, like that guy still. Like the
Yeah.
athleticism's down, the jump is down, the range is down. Like he doesn't make errors, but like just the advanced statistics would suggest like he maybe isn't really that guy. Like I do
Mhm.
think for a team that maybe needs like some help defensively in the infield, like no matter what, he's going to improve your defense. Like even as a limited defensive player, he's still one of the best defensive players in baseball.
Mhm.
Like it's not like he's a
Yeah.
bad player. It's just it's such a weird free agent market.
And there's
It,
no good spot for him either. Like there's really nowhere that he really like there's no team that has a glaring need at third base. Um, I think maybe best case scenario, I know I kind of mentioned the Cubs, but I really do think just staying home in Toronto will be best for him. And Toronto, you may not like to hear that though, because the AL East, but
we're
like
not
that's
winning
where
the
he's
AL East. I don't care.
well, that's where he's played. That's where he's had some of his better seasons. I think they like him up there. Like he seems to be a well liked guy. But
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems interesting. I also, excuse me, sorry. Like one thing that makes this even more interesting is I haven't really seen any like rumors about like who has offered him a contract either, like on
No.
online or on the internet. So it's just like we're kind of flying blind right now.
No, you get reports on everybody too, and then it's just like, wait a minute, Matt Chapman's alive. Why
Yeah.
have we not heard anything about him?
Hmm.
Like we have reports on Jorge Soler. Like Gio Urshela was getting rumblings. Like
Yeah.
Gio is a far worse baseball player than Matt Chapman.
Absolutely. Um,
That's crazy.
so
Which might probably is more expensive, and the Tigers are already spending so much money on a below average middle infielder. They probably didn't want to spend money on a below average corner infielder who can't hit. Both can't hit, so that's perfect.
yeah, I mean, it really is interesting this year. Like with this year's free agency has really been pushed to an extreme, and we're really seeing it with some of these guys. But I mean, I do think they'll find a spot. I mean, and only time will tell. But I mean, it seems it's getting closer. So
I mean, like, do you feel like there has to be a change in the structure of free agency at this point?
I mean, I think I don't know. I mean. I kind of like that it's like, the whole winter, like that there is like this, guys can kind of talk with different teams and stuff. Like I feel like with other sports, like the reason there's like a free agency like time is because there's a hard salary cap and baseball doesn't have that.
Yeah,
And so like it's just like it would be tough to put that in because like baseball is so much about the players and like the players' power over their own like like decisions and money and stuff like that. Like putting in a hard
yeah,
salary cap would really or not a hard like a free agency like timeline would really
no window.
yeah, it'd close the window, it'd take away a lot of their power because like, spring training, you hit kind of that second week of spring training and you're like, uh-oh, there are five guys who need Tommy John surgery now. Oh, here's Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. Now the $200 million that Blake Snell wants over like 8 years or whatever it is. It's like people are like, well, ah, we need pitching this year. Let's give him that contract or offer him like a large sum for like 2 or 3 seasons and see how that, So I don't think it'll
Yeah.
ever change. I don't know if it should. I mean, I think just the way that baseball handles its free agency and like salaries and stuff like that is just such a unique way that, yeah, but I do wish there was some more urgency, but I understand why there's not. Um,
Hmm.
Especially because of like the guys like Blake Snell, like not great, but has two Cy Youngs. And it's like his two Cy Young year, he was great. But this past year he led the league in walks. But like gave up 0 hits, but didn't pitch past the sixth inning. Like Jordan Montgomery, like it's gonna pitch a lot and it's going to be
Hmm.
pretty good, but it's not going to be elite stuff. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, in the playoffs, like he's shown that he can be really, really good. But he also got such a late start to his prime, I guess. Like with the Yankees, it took him. Sorry, um, with the Yankees, like he got left off the playoff roster like 2 or 3 years in a row. There, like 2018, 2019.
Yankees. Yeah.
And then they traded him. Like, well, he hadn't come into his own. Like, he hadn't really developed into like an effective pitcher yet. And then the Cardinals were able to kind of create him into like this uber consistent type pitcher. But it's not like he's commanding like 250 million. Like, he's not that type of player. Like,
Mhm.
so but these guys feel that their value is higher. I know, at least I feel like I can speak. I don't know really what Jordan Montgomery thinks, but I feel like we can agree that Blake Snell feels like his value is very high, is a lot higher than what everyone else is kind of evaluating him at. So
Yeah, I just think across the board there's disconnect on what the value of these players are.
mhm.
And I think you raise a great point. Like there's an element where they can kind of take advantage of a vulnerable team who is trying to compete, who is one arm away, and then all of a sudden Tommy John hits and oh, look what I can get over here for no charge at all. And like Jordan Montgomery doesn't have a qualifying offer attached to him. Like you don't even
Yeah,
have to
there's
spend a
no
draft
draft
pick.
pick. Yeah,
It's like it's perplexing to me at why these guys are still available, the consistency you get, because no team is gonna ask like as much as I think the rumors are say like, oh, Jordan Montgomery wants to be an ace, no team in their right mind is gonna have Jordan Montgomery come be your ace. Like he's a really good and consistent 2 or 3.
yeah,
Like in a perfect world, he's your 3. And man, I would do anything to have him be the 3 in the Boston Red Sox rotation for years to come. Like he just offers a level of consistency to a rotation that we've seen. Like he will make that start, he will be there. He won't punch out 15. Like it's not going to be appointment television, but he's going to get you ground balls. He's going to get you starts. He's going to eat you innings. Like Blake Snell won't eat innings for you. He'll get 5 and throw 120 pitches, maybe 4 2/3 and 120 pitches. I like Jordan Montgomery a little bit more than Blake Snell. I'm not surprised by nobody wanting to sign Snell, just given the kind of pitcher he is. I think there's just a wariness to give him big money, and I think rightfully so. Um, but I'm intrigued to see what he gets because I
hmm
I don't think like a team that's projecting to have young players like who like the or like a team that needs to pay young players and continue to compete. Like I just don't see them willing to shovel out 250 million to an older Blake Snell who can't seem to throw strikes when it matters.
yeah. No, I agree. I think Montgomery would be a good fit for them if they could get him for like a 2-year contract, but.
Yeah, for
Um,
anybody, I think Jordan Montgomery, like the Phillies have been involved with Jordan Montgomery. Like, I think that's a great match too. If Montgomery can't find anybody, take a 2-year deal with Philly, be a part
mhm.
of a playoff rotation. Like, golly,
Yeah, that would I think that I would not like to see that, but that's okay.
yeah, that's right.
I would like the Braves to sign him, but I'm a little biased. He's a South Carolina guy. I watched him pitch
Hmm.
when I was a kid, so but yeah, I think with that, we can move on. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be back. We've got some other things to talk about, some MLB decision making, a little college
Hmm.
baseball too. But yeah, we'll be back in a second. Welcome back. We're back for part 2. We're ready. We're excited. We've got some
What's
fun.
up, guys?
That was not good.
What's up, guys?
Okay. First, Rob Manfred. What a genius. Um, if anyone does not know what we're talking about, the MLB changed the uniforms this year, and they are awful. So, Keenan, can you explain exactly what the new contract is or whatever? Because I think you understand it a little bit better than I can, and you can explain it.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, First of all, if you've ever ordered a jersey from like DH Gate or from a wholesale website from China, they smell like a costume store. The stitching looks terrible. You can tell that they're fake because the lettering size is wrong. The letters are wrongly spaced. The numbers are poorly stitched on, and everything just looks terrible. And that's what all these uniforms look like.
This
Now,
is
what
true.
was it? Was it 4 years ago when Nike, uh, MLB switched from Majestic to Nike for uniform processing? I believe it was like 4 years ago. It was
hmm
right before the COVID season. Um, Majestic, beautiful jerseys, little known company, did a great job. But at the time ending, MLB kind of wanted some more money because they're greedy bastards. Um,
That was rude.
that's true. Um, Nike buys the uniform rights to Major League Baseball. Starts producing baseball uniforms. This past year, what they've done is they have rented their logo to Fanatics and have made these MLB uniforms in association with Fanatics, which is a terrible company, first and
It is a
foremost.
terrible company. I buy shirts from them sometimes, like for Braves, and it's just like they don't fit right. It's just
No.
they don't look good.
They're
It's just bad.
misprinted 6 ways to Sunday. There's this like famous picture of like a Ravens jersey, and it just has like a Bills logo up around the collar, and it's like you like it's a purple jersey. It says Ravens on it. It's a Lamar Jackson jersey, and it has a Bills logo on it. And so you have Fanatics making these jerseys that the MLB swears have been the most tested jersey in sports history. And they've made them in association with the players. And they've done so much research on the scientific advantages of these jerseys. And they give so much more player movement. And it's amazing. And they wore them in the All-Star game last year. And the players gave raving reviews. And they show up and they look like hot garbage. And they look like they're from a Chinese wholesale website, and they look like each of them were $15. And the letters are poorly spaced. The pants are see through
The
now.
pants
And
are see through. It is.
they're see through.
They're
Like
see through. It's bad. Don't look it up. It's bad.
no, there's some really vulnerable pictures of some Giants players out there.
Rip my
Um,
boy Casey Schmidt.
poor guy just had everything aired out there.
Oh, it was
Oh my
bad.
gosh, it's bad.
Um,
But like,
but
they're atrocious. Oh
they're
my
so bad.
gosh.
Like, and one new thing too now is that this is like the first time that the letters and all that isn't stitched on, right? It's all like
Yeah,
now like
I know.
compressed on, which is
Yeah.
just awful. Like that's just not a good look. Like I love baseball jerseys. Like I think they look really cool. Um, like, but this just sucks. I mean, it's just they look really bad. The quality is poor. There have been a few baseball players who are like, we love the new jerseys. They are all sponsored by Nike, and those were like pre-written like timed tweets, basically like
Mhm.
that come out at a certain time.
Ready? Here
Um,
are 3 quotes. The Nike Vapor Premier jersey is soft, light, and comfortable. It's almost like wearing my favorite shirt out on the field and so easy to move around in. Quote by notable St. Louis Cardinals player and notable Nike athlete Nolan Arenado. Then this jersey this season are much more breathable with vents on the numbers and better airflow all around. It's really going to make a difference during this hot summer games and I'm in full gear. Another notable Nike athlete, Adley Rutschman. And then known known man fluent in English. These new uniforms fit better and feel lighter. I play fast and want to wear something that won't pull when I'm running. Feel free in the jersey is the best feeling in the world. Ronald Acuna Jr.
Hey, he actually speaks pretty good English now. He recently did an interview in full English.
I agree, but this is a PR statement.
I know.
Like
Oh no, I completely
this
agree.
is I would read this in Darla Moore School of Business as a marketing statement. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And they're like,
Uh,
yeah, we went with smaller names to leave more breathability. And it's like, no, you just wanted to save money and cut costs.
the if anyone wants a good laugh, look up Pete Crow Armstrong 2024 Cubs jersey. It's basically
Oh
Jonathan
yeah.
Salamalakis, yeah, basically all over again.
Saltomakia, my
Yeah,
king.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Salty.
But like, yeah, it's just not a good look. Like you can see in a lot of the like media day photos and stuff like that. Like you can see the jersey through the pants where it's tucked in. Like you can see players'
Hmm.
underwear. Like the
It's
jerseys
so
just look
bad.
poor. They look poorly made. I mean, it really does look like they bought them off DH Gate and they got
It's
shipped
so
over.
bad.
Took about 6 months to get here. Because all China and all that. Um, so I mean, it's just like it's really frustrating because like baseball does a poor job of like promoting their players and stuff. And I feel like we're
Hmm.
entering into a time right now where like the country is like really interested in baseball and other countries as well with Japan and like
Yeah.
Venezuela and the DR like are really invested now with the big name players and like they pull this stunt.
Yeah. And like it's the commitment to lying too.
Exactly.
Like it's this perception of like we're just gonna keep drilling this point home until people forget because we want to save this money. Like you hear these former major league players like Rich Hill, old like love that guy.
Love
Like
that guy.
one of the best curveballs in Major League Baseball
Oh,
history. Newton, Massachusetts native. Um, literally just love him to death. And he went on a podcast and was talking about like how like legitimately how amazing the experience is like as a Major League Baseball player in recent memory of like getting your uniform. Like everything would be tailored, like the pants, the jersey, like they would take all of your measurements, consult with you how like you want it to fit, how you want it to feel. Like specific pants for the pitchers because your legs have to be way stronger. Like your back is bigger as a pitcher, but like it's just like the way it fits, like torso length, all of it. They had all of it measured so intricately. And just like the reports coming out of how slapped together all of this stuff
hmm
is, how poorly made it all is. Like they look like a 12-year-old travel baseball team getting their kids the cheapest jersey off some
yep.
random Chinese website. Like or some random like website that you would just find like, oh yeah, this is great for my men's league team. Like
Yeah.
they're just so bad. It's like you didn't have like you make so much in revenue.
hmm
Like these teams make so much revenue, and to play stupid and to say it's a performance thing, just admit it's a money thing. And I legitimately think like this is something like nobody's buying jerseys anymore. Like this will not like the fact that we've seen the best quality jerseys we have, like baseball jerseys are better than any other kind of jersey,
I
in my
completely
personal
agree.
opinion.
I
Like they
agree.
really are. Like there's nothing better than wearing a baseball jersey in a ballpark. Like there really isn't. And it
You
is
are
weird.
you are absolutely correct. Me and Keenan, we wear our Carolina baseball jerseys to Carolina baseball games all the time, and it's awesome. Um,
Man, I wear
but
my Red Sox jerseys. Come on.
yes, you do love your Red Sox jerseys. I have one Braves jersey, and I don't wear it often. It's a little small. I've had it for a long time, and it also says Freeman, number 5 on the back, and he's a
Yeah,
Dodger.
man.
So
Dude, my jerseys consist of Chris Sale, JD Martinez, Andrew Benintendi, Mookie Betts, David Price. Um, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. The only
That's brutal.
I've stopped
I wonder
buying jerseys.
how many
I,
of those guys are on the team still. Oh, none of them. Yeah, that's right.
hey man, I got a Raffy Devers jersey and I have a Brian Bayo and Tristan Casas jersey. That's
Those are good. Those are good choices.
even those
Um,
I don't even know.
but I want to touch on one point too that you kind of mentioned with the pants. Like there is pants last year and in years past, like there was a lot of customization options. Players really got to be able to make them their own and got to really be comfortable in them. And there are a lot of reports coming out now that a lot of those options have been eliminated, and the pants are a lot more like one size fits all, more of just like a standard like three, like you pick this type of pant or this type or this type, instead of kind of getting to kind of make them your own and make them fit just right. And I mean, like there's all saying like, you look good, you feel good, like, all that. Like, these players, like, they want to feel good on the field, like, you feel good, you play good, all that stuff. And like it's got to be extremely frustrating to just be kind of like handcuffed, like
Mhm.
just basically having like one of the few things that you can control taken away from you.
Yeah.
That's got to be really frustrating. So I do feel bad.
I mean, like, let's not miss it too. Like, dude, they're big leaguers.
hmm
Like, it is so hard to get to the major leagues. And the fact, like, there should be a noticeable change, and there is a noticeable change versus like AAA jerseys and semi-pro jerseys to Major League Baseball jerseys.
Yeah.
And that should be true. Like, there is nothing cooler than seeing the full stitched on like Toronto Blue Jays logo up there, or the St. Louis Cardinals, like every detail of the
hmm
Cardinal on the bat stitched on. Like, that is so cool to me.
Yep.
And you strip away that, and you're just like, who cares? Like, man, it's the big leagues. Treat
hmm
them as big leaguers. Like, these guys are amazing, and
Yeah.
we can't miss that.
It
Like,
just
there's a
it
man.
feels like the MLB just constantly tries to treat big leaguers like they're they're a step below or like their children or something like that. Like it feels like they're always trying to kind of assert their dominance as like being like the league over the players in a way that a lot of leagues don't really do. Like the MLB is just so different. Like it's such a owners league, it's such a like commissioners league, but it also like has a very strong players association. And there's lots of trends. There's kind of 5 to 10 year trends where the league will kind of swing one way and swing back. And so it's just really frustrating that this is kind of that something like this is happening. Like it's just seems extremely childish. Maybe not childish, but just extreme poor judgment on the league's part to kind of do this.
I would agree. I would 1000%
So
agree. Yeah, it's just sad, man.
mhm. But
What happened to the league that I love? Sorry.
what happened?
What happened?
Now we're going to talk about a league that's awesome and never fails to disappoint. Well, that's not true. The NCAA sucks, but college baseball does not. The NCAA takes away all the fun, and college baseball just finds a way to have even more fun. You take away our props, we're just still going to have fun. We're a bunch of college guys playing ball, getting out on the field, and just getting it done. So, I think we want to try to talk some college ball this year. I know it's tough with Shane kind of being associated with the podcast. We want to be respectful to his affiliation with the Winthrop baseball team. Uh, I love Shane. He's a very dear friend of mine. I'm extremely excited to be a part of his journey here playing college ball. And I love Winthrop. I'm really thankful that they've given him the opportunity to pursue his dream. So we want to be respectful of them and not trash on them or any teams or anything like that. So with that being said,
I'm a professional hater and instigator.
yeah, we know. I am too, but this is someone else's livelihood that's potentially at stake. So I'll probably just I'll go easy.
Make me feel like a jerk.
I will.
Okay.
I'm good at that. So
Okay.
but want to shout out Arkansas's Hagen Smith.
Dog.
Friday night. Just deals. So he goes 6 innings. Wait, let me actually find who are they playing again? So he goes 6 innings, 17 strikeouts. For those of you that are good at math,
Punching tickets.
if you pitch 6 innings, you have to get 18 outs.
Mm-hmm.
He got 17 of his 18 outs via the K. Gave up, I believe it was 3 hits and a walk, no runs. Just dominant. This was against the number 7 Oregon State team, which that lineup is loaded. They've got a guy, Travis Bonanza, but something like that, who is probably the best college bat in the country. Definitely going to go top 10. Hagen had him 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts.
Golden sombrero, baby.
Golden sombrero. A lot of people are calling this the game of the year already. Went down to the wire. Arkansas ended up winning it in the 9th inning, but I think it was like a 5-4 victory. Really good game, back and forth. Just exciting matchup. Oregon State's guy also pitched really well. But just to kind of go over some of the numbers, Smith's sat 94 to 96, or no, he sat 96 to 98. Touched 99 a couple times. Has a showcased a plus slider, a true out pitch. Mid 80s, was absolutely filthy. Was just freezing guys left and right, getting the sword Ks, just disgusting. And he also has flashed a little bit of a splitter / changeup type thing. But he kind of has sort of a kind of a 3/4 slot, and that's a little difficult sometimes to kind of get that rollover on like the changeup, or if you're going splitter, kind of coming like this, getting the ball spinning like that. So it's a little tougher out of the 3/4 spot. He doesn't really throw it very often, but that would be something that maybe he develops later on in his pro career.
Comes from that. Nasty when you can get that arm
if you
angle
can
from
get
there.
it is disgusting.
Yeah, because it not only is falling off the table, it's coming that way, and then it falls down and into a
Mm.
righty, like it comes right at that back foot.
Yep.
It's like a demon changeup because you can't read the spin on it
Mm-hmm.
at all. Like the thing almost knuckles. Oh, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
I was able to throw. I kind of had a 3/4 arm slot in high school, and I could turn over a changeup sometimes, and it would get some good life on it. I threw mid to upper 70s, so it was a lot less
Yeah,
impressive, and honestly,
bro, that's the
probably
same
most of the
thing as
movement.
99.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Most of the
99,
movement from
upper 70s. Come on, there ain't much of a difference.
I'm pretty sure most of the movement on my pitches came from just it was going slow, and gravity was just like, I feel sorry for the kid. Let's help him out a little. So,
Hey,
but
bro, if the injuries didn't come, we'd be in the league right now. I promise.
exactly, man. If
I promise.
something, sure,
Yeah.
if something, if everything went according to plan, I don't know what went wrong, but something did. So I league me,
Give
But
him a shot, man. You
I tried.
Yeah.
I wanted a shot. I didn't get it. So they
Dude,
did not have.
we could play for the A's. We could play for the A's.
Okay. Okay.
I'm just kidding. All Major League Baseball players are so good. I couldn't play for the Oakland Athletics,
Shout
no
out
matter how
Jonah.
bad they
Jonah
are.
Bride was traded from the A's, Carolina
Word.
guy. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive, Keenan. I don't know how much you have to say about that. I know I kind of just highlighted it all, but I think he's number 17 draft prospect. He's one of the top pitching prospects. Gonna potentially go
He
in the
about to
first
shoot
round.
up, man. That's crazy. Like legitimately, like that's all I can say is like what an impressive feat. Like
Hmm.
to be able to do that at that level, like that's crazy. Like you're
In
just
in
punching
Globe Life
tickets.
Stadium too, on a major league stage. Not to cut you off, but just to
Uh,
even just to make the pot a little sweeter, like just you know,
dude, he averaged 3.5 pitches per at bat
yep,
and punched out 17
yep,
and walked one. So like
yep,
he legitimately is sitting guys down one, two, three, like one after the other. Like this isn't like, oh yeah, he struck out 17, but like it was 120 pitches in 6 innings. Like, no, 78. Like, and he faced 22 hitters.
yeah,
Like, oh my gosh.
otherworldly. And
Like,
for some of y'all that are kind of maybe wondering, why didn't he go longer? He could have had the complete game shutout, all that. As exciting as this top 10 matchup was for both these teams, this means nothing for either of these teams, honestly. Like Arkansas is going to want to save their guys for SEC play later down the line for a potential regional, super regional, and then even CWS appearance. So, as much as cool as it would be to see him go the distance, like this is the second weekend of the season. You really want to be preserving guys' arms, um, and just making sure that they are kind of easing back into those, not into the workload, but there's a difference between throwing a bullpen or throwing like BP or live ABs or like in a scrimmage to like a in-game environment, especially against a really good team. Like just the stresses on your body are different. You're still throwing, but there's all that added excitement, like adrenaline and all that, and all that stuff just it can sometimes culminate in an injury, and you don't want your guys throwing tired early in the season, especially a guy like this who has electric stuff. But Arkansas's staff is disgusting. Their Saturday and Sunday starters looked really good as well. I don't know their names, so I apologize to them. But I've seen some stuff
they'll
on
be
Twitter
fine.
about them. So it should be they're a team to watch out for come playoff time. So
That's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. Good for him.
yeah.
Good for him.
So I know I guess I mean that's all I have. If you have anything else you want to say, Keenan, here's your time to kind of say your piece. Cannot be Red Sox related because they are awful. So okay, thanks, Keenan. Um, yeah,
You
Keenan.
took away everything I want to talk about.
Sorry. We'll do Red Sox maybe another time. We'll
Honestly,
definitely.
cool direction of like where the game is going is legitimately like there have been reports coming out of Sox camp of like the Netflix series
Yes,
and just
this
like
yes. Actually, we've got a few minutes left. Give us your thoughts on the Netflix series, Keenan. I actually would like. I do care. I do care what you think about this.
I mean I think it's great for the game. Like again, like baseball is unlike any other sport. Like it is 162 games during the summer. Like these guys are with each other all the time. And like in opposition to like say the NFL, where like it is an event every week. Like there are games that aren't events, and there are times where things are not events, and like there is mundane in the game of baseball, and like more so I think than any other sport. Like these guys are just so human, and I'm excited to give a lot of these guys a platform because as we talked about, like the league is just really poor at like it is an owners league, it is a league's league. Like they care about their own pockets more than anything. They do not care at all about promoting their players in a constructive way. If they cared about promoting their players and caring for their players, like we'd be having a different conversation about uniforms, and about TV deals and blackouts and regional blackouts. Like there are just so many things. You can go down the list of how terrible it is. And if they're looking at expanding to get more owners money, right? Instead of fixing the existing issues. But genuinely, I'm very excited, and like as much as I will rage against the Fenway Sports Group, like I'm excited to see these players, these young guys, the Tristan Casas of the world, the Brian Bayos, the Jaron Durans, the Rafi Devers, like all these guys to continue to grow the game and give them a platform to be lovable, to be these awesome players, and to be these characters. Um, and I'm glad Nick Pavetta, who is just a great veteran presence at this point, an absolute dog. He was the big advocate from the Players Association who really got this moving. And so far, the reports have been really cool. Like they went out with them late, they went on a nighttime fishing trip in
That's
like the
cool.
Everglades, and like that's like the Netflix crew went with them, and it's like that's like the cool stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, am I probably gonna want to launch myself off a bridge with every episode as the Red Sox just lose game after game after game? And like, yeah, probably. And like you hear about all the ways in which ownership failed. Like it's gonna be awesome. Like it's gonna be like getting punched in the gut every 5 minutes. But like to also see that it'll be like the cool parts. And I hope it's like a opening of a door to the rest of the league to get to do this opportunity.
Yeah.
Like Hard Knocks for football. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
it's a great thing to do, and it does draw on a ton of viewership from outside the regular football fans.
Yeah.
I think it's great. The Fenway Sports Group has always been great about looking for other opportunities outside of the sports stuff.
They
Like
do love their
that
golf.
$3.5 billion worth of it.
Braves are owned by the public. We would never.
Mm,
But no, I do agree with you. Like the baseball has been it's such a closed like private community. Like it's been very opposed to letting the public in, to kind of the private sphere. And you know, I don't necessarily disagree with that. Like I do think there should be some separation between like the public and the sport and the players' lives and stuff like that. But I do think that this could be a really cool opportunity to kind of strike a nice balance where we get to kind of see these players kind of maybe off the field, in the clubhouse, potentially even around friends and family outside of the sport of baseball. Um, and it can provide a really unique perspective on baseball players and kind of how they live, and kind of how they interact with the team. I know it'll be more, I feel like, centered on the team, but I would imagine that if it's like a documentary, they will be including other pieces of like their outside lives. So I'm really
the
hopeful
world's
that this
gotta
strikes
fall in love.
an
The
even
world's gotta fall in
balance.
love with Tristan Casas. That man's gonna become world famous.
Well, I wish his brother would hit better, but sorry,
Doesn't matter.
Gavin. I believe in you, Gavin. I believe in you.
I
I
know.
really do. But yeah, so this is really
Yeah.
exciting stuff. The Netflix doc. Definitely looking forward to that. But
They're also making one about the 2004 Red Sox run.
that will be cool. That will be cool. So that will be a lot of fun to watch, definitely. So keep an eye out for those two things.
Yeah.
I want to take a second to thank everybody for listening. Thank Keenan for coming on. He'll be on definitely a lot more in the future. I mean,
Golly.
potentially almost every week. Scheduling and all that kind of tends to get in the way sometimes with people, as we can
Hey, I'm
see
a
with Shane
busy
right
guy.
now.
I'm a busy guy, man.
You're not busier than I am, so you can shut up, and
I
that's
got.
true. You every time I come home, you're at the house, so that's
That's not true, man.
it is true.
Guys, if I come on enough, I'll show you all my Legos. It'll be sick.
Yeah, these guys, none of them have seen my Legos, so maybe we do a Lego Star Wars baseball episode. May the 4th.
We can start talking about. Guys, let us know if you want to start hearing us talk about Lord of the Rings and Legos and Star
We'll start a
Wars.
separate podcast for that.
Like, no, man, it'll
Just
be the same podcast. It'll be awesome. It'll be great.
ugh. Let me just showcase. Keenan has this book as well. We have the
Wait,
same
Jay,
book.
that's crazy. Where'd that book come from, man?
Dang, that's
wild.
crazy. It's pretty sick. I found it on Amazon well before Keenan got it as a gift. And then it went on sale, so I decided to buy it as well. So whatever Keenan says is a lie. This end has been a little hectic. So thanks everyone for listening, sticking with us. This is a little preview into our lives as roommates and friends. Thank you for hanging in there with us. Yeah, email us questions. Email is on the Instagram page. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, whatever. Don't be afraid to share with your. Don't follow him on Twitter. It's just depressing Red Sox news.
Briggs4.
Wow, you really just plugged yourself. I have not plugged any of my social
media
medias.
on Instagram
since
@KeenanSteele_22.
Oh wow, this is crazy.
I won't give my personal email or personal
This is
phone number.
crazy. None of these people know my personal accounts, and you're just plugging yourself in there. I didn't even prompt you to give it.
You gotta give the people what they want. You gotta
give the people what they want. Yeah, yeah. Okay. All right.
Shout out Drew's grandma.
She's chugging her way through the episodes, and that's awesome. So thanks, Grandma. I love you.
Listening.
Nani's the goat.
I call my grandma Nani too.
Dang it. Dude, I'm gonna have to talk to her about changing her name.
Nani and Pop Pop.
All right. But for real, goodbye, everybody. Thank you. We appreciate you. So I will give the signature Shane sign off. Peace.